Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Terry Slavens to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Good morning and welcome into Life Planning 101. Blakeney Hodges sitting in this morning for Terry Slavens, and very happy to do so.
Yes.
Yes, and of course we have Angela Robinson. How are you
Good
this morning?
Monday morning. Great. And it's the most giving time of the year, right?
Yes.
I won't break out in chorus. You can do that.
I was
you
literally doing
voice.
it in my head.
But we are definitely going to focus on the holiday season and the holiday joy. And I want to start out this morning by telling you a quick story about a gentleman that just decided he wasn't going to do any Christmas shopping this year. And so he said, I'll write my family cards and I'll just put a check in each of those cards and write in there that, you can get your own gift. Mm-hmm. And so after waiting, he never received any Christmas cards. He was really distraught over it. And he thought, well, maybe I just need to go write my family because that's kind of rude. I sent them money and, all this and nothing in return. And he goes to his desk and he gets out his letters and all that, and he figured out, oh, there's a stack of checks. He forgot to put the checks in the cards. So here they are receiving their cards, and it says, get your own gift.
Oh, man. That changes the dynamics.
It does change the dynamics, right? But I figure we all needed a little bit of holiday cheer first thing this morning, and definitely not a Scrooge. And we're going to be talking about charitable gifting. That's one of our 8 life planning issues. And a lot of people say, well, why do you focus on so much on that? Or what is it about charitable gifting? Well, we are a life planning firm. Mm-hmm. So life planning is a little bit different from financial planning. Financial planning is really a focus on money. Life planning is the focus on life and making the money work for your life, right? So to people, most of the time, you get, the rank of their priorities, and faith, family, and the causes that are friends and the causes that are near and dear to their heart are the most important things in their life. If they're a business owner, their business falls into that. If they're a rancher, their ranch falls into that. So, we focus on those, and we focus on the planning around those. And I think a good example is we've got a wonderful couple that we work with that they really just have a heart for several little charities. And over the last 5-7 years, we've been able to use their normal charitable gifting and what they do to be able to save them $50,000 to $100,000 of taxes.
Man.
Yeah, it's a lot. And just over a few years. And you ask, well, how's that possible? I mean, weren't they getting a write-off to begin with? And yes, they were, but they weren't maximizing what they could do with that charitable gift. Yeah. And that's what we often don't think about. And this year in particularly, so we've got COVID-19, it's a year as, I heard this morning, a lot of F words. There's fear, there's fear, there's Fauci, there's the want to just forget 2020, right?
Yes.
But, the reality is that it's also given us some gifts. And one of those gifts is there's been a lot of loosening up within the tax laws and things that you can do. And one of those is charitable gifting. This year, so normally when you deduct charitable gifts, first of all, you have to get to a level that you can itemize. Well, if you're a couple, that's $24,000 to $27,000 depending on how old you are. Yeah. So you'd have to gift over that amount or have other itemized deductions to even get the benefit. Secondly, in most years, you're capped on the amount of charitable gifts that you can have versus your income. Yeah. And deduct those, okay? And on cash gifts, that was 60% in previous years. Well, for this year only, you can actually deduct up to 100% of your income. So you could have 0 on your taxable income line. Think about that. Yeah. Okay. So people say, well, why is that really a benefit? Because if I just give it all away, then what am I really doing? Well, it's a benefit because if it's structured appropriately, then what you can actually do with what you normally would have been paying in taxes at low tax rates is be able to save for your future. save future tax dollars.
Yeah.
So people don't often think about things like that. They just think about, okay, this is the bucket of money I'm going to give. This is what I'm going to give for. And they don't really strategize behind that charitable gifting.
Yeah.
And we're not here to don't get me wrong, take the joy out of gifting.
Yeah.
We're not here to say that this is the only way that you have to do it. I think, there's a lot of things that people want to do. They want to go angel shopping for, the kids at the crisis center, or they want to do Toys for Tots, or, those little things are, of course, always.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that you're maximizing every dollar that you're giving anyway. Why not?
Yeah.
That makes only sense. So we're going to give you some food for thought today. And this is going to be a fun show. It's going to talk about some things and ways to give that you've maybe never thought about giving. And at the end of the show, I want to share some real secret sauce for those ranchers, farmers, and business owners, that some things that we've been working on this year to be able to help people sell their ranches, pass the ranches down to the second generation, and it's all through charitable gifting right here on Life Planning 101.
And welcome back into Life Planning 101 this marvelous Monday morning right here on KATX and KWBY. Blakeney Hodges sitting in for Terry Slavens, and we're talking charitable gifting.
Yes, and I want to tell you a little story about Sammy. So his mom, he wanted a new bike for Christmas, and his mom said, well, you should write Santa Claus. And he said, I think I'd rather write to baby Jesus. We just did the play at school, and I think it's better to write to baby Jesus and ask him for this. So he wrote to baby Jesus and said, Dear Jesus, I've been a very good boy and would like to have a bike for Christmas this year. Wasn't really feeling truthful about it, so he ripped that one up and he said, okay, Dear Jesus, I'm a good boy most of the time, would like to have a bike for Christmas this year. And he really wasn't liking that one, so he ripped it up and he said, Dear Jesus, I could be a good boy, and I tried hard, especially if I had a new bike, I'd be better. And he paused for a short while, and he still didn't like it. So he left the house, went down the road, and saw a little small statue of Virgin Mary in a little garden. And so he looked around to see if anybody was looking. Nobody was looking, so he took the Virgin Mary, took it back, put it under his bed, and he wrote Jesus another note. Said, Dear Jesus, if you want to see your mother again, you'd better send me a new bike.
That escalated quickly.
So, a little holiday cheer there, but in reality, we have to get creative, right?
Yeah,
so we should get creative on what we can do with our charitable deductions. And here you go. So we talked about in the first segment that you've lost your itemized deductions. You don't believe me? Get these numbers. Okay, so this was early. This is the latest I could find. I couldn't find for the whole year without actually having to go and calculate numbers. But there was a drop in deductible charitable contributions from pre-tax reform, when we had this huge tax reform, to post-tax reform, partway through the tax filing year for 2019, not even a full season. And taxpayers had deducted $54 billion less than they had the year before.
Man.
Those are lost tax deductions.
54 billion.
54 billion. So the question is, are you getting your deductions? Do you know if you're getting deductions? I see a lot of people that send in their charitable deductions anyway, think they're getting them, and they're not. So what can you do about it? Well, number one, you could consider what we call bunching. Okay, so here we are, the end of the year, right? What if you went ahead and did all your pre-gifting for 2021, or maybe even 2 years of gifting to get a full deduction on your charitable gifts rather than zero deductions, right? For those people that give quite a bit, that can be mega tax dollars. That's a lot of money, right? So it's really worth considering. Another little secret with that too is a lot of people say, well, I don't really want to give a big chunk right now. I'd like to spread it out. Well, that's what donor advised funds are for. Okay, so we use these all the time. We have a couple different ways that we use them, but I like to think of them kind of like a family foundation on steroids that's really inexpensive. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the reality is you can put your money or stocks, and we'll get there in a second, or any kind of investments into them, and then have that donor advised fund pay out to any 501c3, any nonprofit that you want at any time in the future. There's no timeline, there's no anything. Now, the thing you have to be careful with that is we use two. And the reason we use two is we use one that we use because it's kind of like an in and out short term tool. And then we have one that's actually built to be a long term, truly create a family foundation. So it's really important to know what you're doing there. But the point is that they're easy to set up. You can put the money in, get 3 years of deductions all in 1 year.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Right? So that is something to consider. Now, let's go back. At the first break, we were talking about the fact that you could literally have zero taxable income because you could get your charitable deductions up so high this year. Now, why is that good? Well, IRA money. Let's talk about that. When you put in money into your 401k or an IRA, you do that with pre-tax dollars.
Okay.
Money that you're putting in that you're not paying tax on. Inside that IRA, inside that 401k, it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, right? And when you go to take it out, guess what you have to do?
You have to pay taxes.
You have to pay taxes. Now, let me ask you, Blaynie, do you think taxes are going to be lower or higher in the future?
My guess is higher.
Yeah, my guess is higher,
That's how they
too.
tend to do.
I mean, we already know our markets are addicted to all this money being pumped into the market. Well, where is that money coming from? It's debt.
Yeah.
Okay, we are trillions of dollars of debt. So to believe that we're going to stay at these low tax rates perpetually is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to happen. So with that being said, wouldn't you rather get that money out at a lower tax rate
Yeah.
than a higher tax rate?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you rather see it grow tax-free from now on than tax-deferred?
Always.
Always, right?
If it's an option, yes.
Yes. So here's an idea. Consider bunching all those charitable contributions, not just to get your tax deduction. Maybe you don't even need it this year. A lot of people don't need it this year. But convert the same amount from your IRA to your Roth IRA. Voila, tax-free plan.
Done. Okay.
How about that? Things you were already going to spend money on anyway. Different way to look at it. Things that you were already going to gift anyway. You're not doing anything different. You're just bunching it up. It's pretty powerful. Okay? So let's go back to that. I said cash or. So here's a saying. Don't pay tax when you don't need to pay tax. Well, I think that's really a synopsis for the whole day, really,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, okay. But this particular item is often overlooked. So have the markets done well, would you say, since 2016, per se?
Yeah. I would say so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we hit all-time highs Friday again, right? Okay. So is it likely that you have appreciated stocks, bonds, other securities in your portfolio that maybe you need to rebalance? Maybe you need to change around and you can't or you won't because you have to pay taxes. Maybe you have those unwanted mutual funds we talked about a few weeks ago with those little ticking tax bombs inside of them that you'd like to get out of, but you can't because it'd kill you tax-wise to do it. Because
Yeah.
if you sell them, then you have to pay tax on them.
Yeah.
Well, what about instead of gifting that donor advised fund or that charity cash, give them those appreciated securities. If you give them the appreciated securities, they sell them, guess what? There's no tax.
There's no tax.
Okay, so if you're giving already anyway, rather than writing a check to the charity, write a check to yourself. Put that in your investments to reallocate, do what you need to do, and send the stocks, send the securities over where you need to send them. Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, note on this, where you get 100% deduction for being able to give cash. When you give securities, you're limited, but it's still pretty high. You still get 30%. Okay,
Yeah.
up to 30% of your AGI. So that's like if you had $100,000 of adjusted gross income on your tax return, you could give $30,000 of securities.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good.
That's still pretty high, yeah.
Yeah, right. If you're
It's
doing
not a bad donation.
right? If you're doing Roth conversions on top of that, you're increasing your AGI. So if you did 30,000 a Roth conversion on top of that, now your AGI is really 130, and then your deductions can even be higher.
Yeah.
Really 39,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's important for you to work with someone that really knows those laws because you can massage those and you can really do some awesome tax planning around that people forget that those tools are there. Oftentimes they just see their investments for what they are and they don't consider any kind of swap strategy.
Yeah.
It's all the same, but it just costs you less money to do it. And it accomplishes what you need to accomplish. It's pretty powerful. So those are some good fuel for thought to start out with. Let's go to number 3. We don't have required minimum distributions this year. If you're over 70 and a half or over 72 now, you know what I'm talking about. You have to take mandatory distributions out of your IRA once you reach a certain age. Well, because of COVID, Congress said, you don't have to take them in 2020. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't take a qualified charitable distribution. So let's assume that the top 2, you can't do anything with those. You cannot deduct anything. You're not going to get your itemized deductions back. There's no way, but you still gift charitably. Is there a way that you can still benefit from that? Absolutely. So you can gift up to $100,000 straight from your IRA to a nonprofit. That's your church or your causes or whatever it is, or multitudes of. We do this often for people, a multitude of them. And that amount of money never hits your tax return. Now, why is that important? Well, your Medicare premium is based on the amount of income that you have. So if you eliminate your IRA distribution off your tax return, you might see a lower Medicare premium in the future. Okay. Your Social Security, how much of that is taxed is based on your overall income. So if you lower, again, the distributions from your IRA, guess what that does potentially for your Social Security income? Lowers the amount that's taxed, right? So that's huge.
Yeah.
Those are some massive benefits. And we go back to what we were talking about earlier. Our tax rate's going to be lower or higher in the future. Most likely, tax reform, when it's up, it's up. And we're not going to see this again unless somehow we get a Republican back in office that's going to be able to reinstitute the tax reform.
Yeah.
But even at that, I don't know that we'll see these rates.
How long do you keep up with it?
Can't. You just can't. It's inevitable. So with that being said, if you had $100,000 that you sent directly out of your IRA, you could replace that in just an individual account if you're going to send that money to a charity anyway.
Yeah.
Couldn't you?
Yeah.
Again, it's just swapping dollars. It's a different way to think about it. Instead of bucketing, mentally accounting in your head, it's really important to work with someone that's helping you strategize these charitable gifts, because there is hidden money inside of here. And a good way to think about this is, isn't it better, or even if you said, you know what, I can save all that taxes and I really don't want the benefit for myself, but I would give the charity more. So you ask yourself, who would you like to give to more? Your church or Uncle Sam?
Or the government, yeah.
Right. Your charity or Uncle Sam? So if doing a strategy this way could save you on a $100,000 gift, $37,000, meaning you could gift $37,000 really plus more, or create that tax savings for yourself or something else, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
More on charitable gifting when we come back. We're going to deck your future with a holly jolly gifting strategy right here in 2020 on Life Planning 101.
Final segment here on Life Planning 101 this Monday morning, charitable gifting.
Right. It's the most gifting time of the year, right?
It's also the most wonderful time of the year.
Yes, it is the most wonderful time of the year. But, you brought up something really good in the break, Blakeney. You brought up a fact of why don't people do this? And it's because we do that mental accounting. We have done something so much the same way for so many years that it's really hard for us to see the change and figure out, okay, that is really the same money. Yeah. And I say that's why it's really important that you work with someone to get that done, because you need someone to help you look at things holistically and not bucket your money. That mental accounting can be obviously very, very costly, right?
Yeah,
so when you look at the actual numbers behind it. So it is important. We have a lot of retirees that we start doing these qualified charitable distributions, for example, and all we do is we end up rather than them writing a check to their church every single month, is we send that church a check directly from their IRA on a monthly basis. So that doesn't change, and we just send them less money than they would be getting. And so once they see that first couple of months, they're like, okay, I get this. So, having someone that's a coach, not only there to show you what to do, but to hold you accountable and help you through that change is really important, because when you start to see the benefits and you're like, wow, this is great. This is great. So thank you for bringing up that point. It's a very, very, very good one. I want to give you one last note of cheer here. Okay. So I don't know if this is a note of cheer, but just before Christmas, there was an honest politician, a generous lawyer, and I know your dad counts as that, so I'll be light on that subject, right? I know actually a lot of generous lawyers, and then a Santa Claus that got on an elevator together at a hotel, and as it traveled to the 5th floor to the ground level, one by one, they noticed there was a note lying on the elevator's floor. So which one picked up that note and handed it to the receptionist?
I mean, I don't know.
Santa, of course.
Well, that was my guess, but then I'm like, is this a trick question?
The other two don't really exist.
That's true.
So, right? Okay. There's the one COVID sling in there. Okay.
That's
so,
where it is.
that's where it is. Exactly. But let's get back to decking your halls with that Holly Jolly 2020 gifting strategy.
Yes.
And I want to share a story because I think this is so powerful. We just helped a family save about $650,000 of taxes.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice.
It was a good day.
It was a good day. It was a good day. We did it through charitable strategies.
Really?
Yes. Okay. So it was really powerful. Mom had some land for years in the family, and they sold it. And the interesting thing is when this was all to be liquidated, it was going to be a lifetime savings for everyone in the family. Lifetime savings. So if I tell you have a lifetime savings, how soon do you expect to spend that?
I mean, pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly?
Wait, you mean like go through it?
Right.
Oh, no. Not quickly.
A lifetime, right?
Yeah, you'd expect that it would
last forever, right?
Your lifetime,
yeah,
yes.
You don't really want to run out of money.
No,
right?
absolutely
right?
not.
Okay. So we forget about these charitable strategies a lot because we see them as, okay, well, if I do something like that, I don't have my cash. Why do you need your cash if it's a lifetime savings? You don't, right?
Yeah.
You need the income.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You want the income.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in this particular situation, we used 3 different charitable tools to be able to accomplish goals. And after 32 years with this, when you put it side by side, if they just pay the taxes and go forward or they don't. And after 32 years, the family breaks even on a cash-on-cash basis, plus the charity would get $6 million at that time.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, this was on about a $2.5 million property selling right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so $6 million plus the charity breaking even on a cash and cash. And the whole time, it's producing what they want it to produce for income.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
You would never think that could be possible.
No, you wouldn't. And
Most
it
people
continues
wouldn't know.
on,
Yeah.
and it continues on. That's the cool thing, is that it doesn't just stop there.
Yeah.
So, people don't realize that there are some really fascinating tools out there charitably.
Yeah.
And I often get to the scene, unfortunately, at the last minute. We get a call when a rancher says, well, I'm about to sign the paperwork to sell my ranch. I'm like, no! Wait a minute. We don't want you to pay all the taxes. We got other ideas, please.
Why didn't you call me last week?
Yes, why didn't you call us 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Yes, and that's so true. So, I encourage business owners, ranchers, farmers, whoever you are, you got some major asset you're selling. Don't wait to the last hour to give us a call and say, what can I do? Because oftentimes it's too late, really. That rancher, it's too late. And they're just going to pay the taxes and go on. But if you strategize about this and you do it correctly, 6 months to a year in advance before ever doing that. And a good example of this is we had a group of people. We said, you need to start planning now because if you list that property, it could sell within a week. And guess what happened? They had a contract in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the planning in order whatsoever. So you can't do that because it won't work. I mean, you're going to be rushed. You're going to be making decisions, and you don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
So to really think through ahead of time, okay, what can I do so that I have an idea of what can be done with my future and save money for me, my family? Because I know most people, they want to take care of each other as a husband and wife and make sure that they're taken care of. Mm-hmm. They want to make sure that all the backup plans are in place in case something goes wrong.
Yeah.
They want to give their children and their grandchildren as much as they can without spoiling them.
Of course.
Right? And then they want to pass on a legacy of values. That's almost everybody has those same wishes. And so if that's your wishes, it can be accomplished. It can be accomplished in a multitude of ways, and charitable giving is just one of them. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that's a great way to teach your family legacy values.
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
So, yes, make sure this year, 2020, I know it's been a heck of a year. Let's refocus. Let's forget those F words and let's use an R word. Refocus. Refocus our energy with, what the gift of Christmas is all about and giving. And really, deck the halls. Deck your future with that Holly Jolly gifting strategy. Put something in place that you're going to help your family for years to come with. And we're happy to help you right here at Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. God bless you. Merry Christmas and have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Advisory services offered through Smart Money Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services Incorporated is an independent of Calton & Associates Incorporated and Smart Money Group, LLC.